Okay, so welcome back to episode 3 of the Slow Start podcast. It is, in fact, a Pokemon podcast. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Saint Sinnoh. How are we doing today, Mark?
I am good. I'm currently working on my decks on Violet, very slowly but surely. But
Is this
you
the
know,
first time
we're
you've ever actually tried to complete a dex?
officially, yeah. Usually it was just too hard because there was too many of them. But there's only 400 in this.
Yes,
So I was like, you know what, I can do that.
It's funny you say that because it's no secret that I played a lot of the games when they came out a couple years ago, and I ended up completing my Violet dex in, I believe it was 5 days.
Oh my god! I think I've been working on this for 5 days, like after the game.
Yeah, it's a grind, but it's doable. It's very doable
Like I
in
said,
Scarlet and
slowly
Violet.
but surely.
And then you get that Moolah Shiny Charm. I mean,
Indeed.
it's already possible to get Overworld Shiny just randomly at full odds in these games. Like, I'd never had it happen before, but a little tease for my next video. Or I say next video, it's going to come out eventually, because I think it's going to take me quite a while. But
Tease for a video.
Yes, because I'm currently working on a Pokemon Scarlet Nuzlocke, and during that video, I did actually get to claim Shiny Claws, because, like I mentioned, I did actually get a random Overworld Shiny, so yeah, it is good fun.
Yeah, I'm going through it like sort of area by area is the best way I thought of logically doing it. But
Yeah,
I've done
yeah.
all of the South Province. Working on the West one now.
Oh, so you've completed everything from South then?
Well, everything is in like I've gone through all the areas. You know, there may be
Okay.
the odd like rare spawns that have like slipped through or something, but I've covered the area at least, and then I can go back and pick up little bits if necessary.
Yeah. Like, I did it, like, as I played through the game. I tried catching everything I saw and then filled it back in with all the rarer Pokemon afterwards.
Yeah, so when I was playing through it, I just wanted to play it. I was thinking, right, I want to make my team, I want to just, experience the game just for what it is. I was thinking, completing the decks, whatever, that's like a post-game thing, isn't it? That's something you work towards afterwards.
Yeah.
So now, I'm just slowly working towards that.
Yeah, no, because it's weird, because like I say, on my first playthrough, I barely touched any of the trainers. I was like, pretty much all my levels just came from catching wild Pokemon, because I was just catching the entire
whereas
decks as I went. Whereas,
I battled every trainer I came across. In fact, I'm still doing that now.
you know,
If
because
I see a trainer I
I
haven't
found
battled,
the
I'm
trainers
like,
a bit
"You're doing
tedious.
it."
But obviously now, doing a Nuzlocke, I'm not chasing down every single fight in the game, but I do feel obligated to fight as much as possible. So no, I've been fighting all the trainers and then not catching any Pokemon, so it's a complete juxtaposition between this playthrough and my first playthrough, so it is good fun. Other than when... Okay, I don't want to spoil too much, but I am just saying... The game... I mean, my reactions to some of the fights... I don't use any derogatory terms, but I definitely react a lot more to the fights against the women, because they've been giving me a lot harder time. I don't want to say I sound misogynistic, because I don't. But a few more deaths and we could get there. Of course, I'm just joking. But or am I?
Oh, to be fair, I remember
But no,
actually talking
just
to you
joking.
as you were fighting Nessa in Sword
Oh
Shield.
yeah, no,
Yeah, I think that's where it stemmed from.
Nessa. I'm getting flashbacks, bro. Luckily, but against Nessa, I had Jimmy, my Sobble, my starter, who rescued me. So, I feel like it's a good time to go into starter chat again.
Indeed.
And this week, we're going to be trying to decide what is the most mid stage out of all the starters. So,
The middest of the mids.
tier list on the wall. Who's the middest of them all?
That is what we're here to find out.
Right, so let's go a quick rundown of the tiers. So, similar to the last episode, the bottom tier, the stinkers, they're going back to the lab. They didn't get left at the lab, but after
taking them
evolving, we're taking them back. We're asking for
Get
a
a refund.
refund. Yeah, there ain't no shot we're keeping these. And then, obviously, like we said, the mid tier, or is just mid. It's just the epitome. It's just there.
It's just all right. It's just not terrible,
And
not
then
great.
The next tier up we got it's cool. It's a decent design, but it's just doing its job as a mid stage, getting us from A to B, and then the next tier up is we actually really like the design. So like, does it have to evolve? Like some Pokemon, I actually think the mid stage are better. I don't
it's
think,
rare, but
in order to be, we won't limit ourselves to this tier and get into, because we don't want to really be discussing the final Evos too much. We want to save that for later. But do we like the design enough to be like, oh, I'd kind of be sad to see it go, And then at the end of the episode, we're gonna decide what the GOAT is of the mid stages, and then for a bit of fun, like I say, we'll go through the mid tier and decide what is the most mid as well. Okay, right. So, starting off with Ivysaur. I am saying that Ivysaur is gonna be in mid straight away.
Yeah, I reckon I could probably agree. I was gonna say it's good design. It's it's decent, but it's not. It's
just not really any different from Bulbasaur.
Yeah, it's just a little bit bigger. It's got a couple of extra leaves.
Yeah, I mean, it's got it definitely has a bit more it's definitely a bit more of a teenager. It's got a bit more ag to it than Bulbasaur, who's just a bit goofy.
Doesn't that define a mid stage though?
Not all of them. Look at Marshtomp. He ain't more aggy. Look at him. He's just happy to be here. So we're saying mid, or it's cool. I think it's got to go mid. So Charmeleon, everyone's favourite. I'm not going to be the contrarian tries to put this going back to the lab. No, not this time. But I don't think it's anything.
I think it's cooler than
special.
Charmander.
So but Charmander's got the cute factor though. Whereas Charmeleon is cool though. I like it. I say it's cool.
It's where you can see where Charizard gets his cool from.
Yeah, I say it's cool.
So I'd say it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, because like I feel like does it have to evolve? Is it's got to be a pretty cool design. Whereas Charmeleon, it's cool. It's doing its job. It's getting us from Charmander to Charizard. So I ain't complaining.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can put Charmeleon in. Does it have to evolve? Purely because of Charizard being Charizard. You can't exactly say I don't want it. I think everyone would have it. Whether you think it's overrated, underrated, whatever, you're having it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a pretty fair placing so far.
Yeah.
So I might just move this down out of the way for now, and then Wartortle. I've got similar things to Charmeleon. To be fair though, I think the wing design, on the ears and I think the tail are really cool actually.
It is pretty decent. It loses out when it gets to Blastoise, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
but it just gets cannons instead, so
that's more cool, isn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit. Okay. Just a little bit.
So it's a step up from Squirtle, not quite as good as Blastoise. So does its job as a mid stage, doesn't it? You can't really argue.
It's cool.
It's cool. It is cool, indeed.
Okay, right. Bayleaf. First one. Does it have to evolve?
Yeah.
Nobody can tell.
I think people prefer Bayleaf.
I think this is probably the mid stage out of everything, not even just starters, the mid stage that people prefer the most. That is partly down to Ash having it in the anime, so there is a little bit of anime bias coming in here, but still, Bayleaf just is cool. It has a lot more personality than Meganium, who just seems a bit more derpy and sluggish, and Bayleaf's just a lot cooler.
Bit weird. Bayleaf seems like it's got its stuff together.
Yeah, exactly.
Meganium just kind of feels like it loses brain cells.
Exactly that. It just feels a bit meh.
Yeah, I get that.
So yeah, I think definitely is definitely deserving to be the first one that we're questioning whether it should evolve, because it definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Quilava. it is just a slightly bigger Cyndaquil.
It stands up and gets a little bit bigger.
It opens its eyes. That's about it.
Basically, yeah. So yeah, I think mid, not a difficult one.
Okay. Oh, moving swiftly on then. Croconaw, because I think it's really cool, and like the whole caveman aesthetic is sick. I think it might go next to Bayleaf, just because I think that Feraligatr, even though I love it and it's definitely my favourite Gen 2 start by a mile, like I feel like it could have been a lot cooler if it actually took a few more pages from Croconaw's book and was a bit more caveman-like.
But then I think saying does Croconaw have to evolve is just sort of sacrilege, because Feraligatr is just that cool.
Yeah, but like I was saying at the start, like I feel like this should be more so how highly we think of the second stage rather than the third stage, because otherwise it's not real. But we're judging it as a second stage. Yes, but we're judging it as a second stage. Okay, does it have? Like I say, it's not so. It's not about the merits of the third stage. That's for another day. We are judging it like, are we sad to see this Pokemon leave our team?
Right.
Because like these oh, okay, right.
That is because of how cool Feraligatr is, though.
Fine.
So it's like, yeah.
But it's definitely at the front of this. Why won't it let me get down there? There we go. Okay. I'll take its top of its cool.
Okay.
But I'm going to be campaigning for the next one to go there too.
I feel like I shouldn't have wasted my my persuasion points.
Okay, I'll be honest. This is definitely another anime bias.
Yeah, we do love Grovyle. Grovyle's cool, but again, it's no Sceptile.
But we're not.
I know we're not basing it on the third stage, but
Come
like I said,
on.
when you're putting it specifically in the
Grovyle's
doesn't have to
sick.
evolve section, you bring the third evolution into the equation. At that point.
Okay, why didn't you raise this issue at the start? Because I specifically set out the rules.
Close to the start.
I set out the rules that we're not talking about the third stage.
Okay,
Maybe
right,
a passing
there is
comment.
no third stage. Grovyle is the last one.
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
it's cool.
Are we
It's
sad
very
to
cool.
see it go?
Yes.
There we go. Does it have to evolve? I'm trying to think of a way to put this that's family friendly.
What are you trying to get at?
Look at it.
It's a chicken.
What? Okay. You know, I can say it because it's another word for a chicken. It's a cock.
I've never really seen that.
Look at it.
I've always just seen it as a chicken. I like nothing more.
It's a
But
cock.
yeah, you point it out, I get it, but it's like I've never once sat to myself and thought, you know what that looks like. I mean, like some other Pokemon, maybe I would have thought that, but not for Combuskin.
I can't have it any higher than mid. I don't think it's a bad design, to be fair, but because of its unfortunate shape,
It's somewhat phallic design.
Yes, well put. I think it's got to be mid.
Okay, fine.
Okay, right. Marshtomp, I think I'm saying it's cool.
I don't know if I'd call it cool. I don't look at Marshtomp and think it's cool.
Okay, I was
do think,
expecting
like,
you to be
alright.
aiming higher. Okay, no, I was happily going with it in mid.
Okay, fair enough.
But okay,
I mean,
I
love
was sort of
Mudkip, I
trying to
love
come into the
Wombat.
middle, like.
But Marshtomp's
Okay, yeah.
a bit like...
Marshtomp
whatever.
isn't as
It's just-
cute as Mudkip, and it's not as cool as Swampert. So like, it is just that
It's
in
the perfect
between
middle
stage.
point.
Yeah, it is just the middle point.
Literal.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. That was a lot easier than I was expecting. I can't lie.
Oh, nice, okay.
Okay. Take a guess where this one's going.
That's gonna go in top tier.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I have seen so much hate for this little man, and I will not have this slander anymore. I love him, but people have said that it is like the worst starter, like any stage. I've genuinely seen that take on
Not by a
Twitter.
long shot.
It's mind blowing. Look at
It is difficult to not think of the third stage, because to try and say like Grottl's better than Torterra is sacrilege, but then at the same time, as a mid stage itself, it is
a
pretty
sick
good.
mid stage
Yeah.
because like you go, it's a perfect transition as well because it goes from Turtwig, the little goofy snapping turtle, kind of like. It's weird because this snapping turtle is one of my favourites. The other snapping turtle in the franchise is Devil Spawn.
PTSD. The D in PTSD.
How has that come up twice in the same episode? Oh, I
don't know,
nearly
you
get
just
swept
really
by
hate it.
Nessa. If I ever see a Tutor or a Dreadnought, bro. But, yeah. Grottle, cute snapping turtle. It's turning into, like, the world turtle. Kind of like Ankylosaurus vibes with Torterra. Like, Grottle, it's getting a bit tankier. It's got the hard golden shell on its back. A bit more of a bush as well. Should not have said it like that. That's unfortunate, but yeah, I think I would be very sad to see Grottle leave my team. Obviously, once you factor in the third stage, yes, I love Torterra. It's one of my favourite Pokemon, so I'm not that sad anymore.
Yeah.
But as the second stage, I'm sad to see it go. So it's going in. Does it have to evolve?
Is a brilliant second stage, yeah. I will give you that.
Unfortunate, but Monferno is kind of stinky. I can't lie. I think it's the worst
bias.
of these mid stages so far. Because, like I say, Infernape was my favorite Pokemon for the longest time. It's been overtaken. Like, it's coming back recently, but it was like my favorite for the longest time. Like a lot of people, like in between our age groups, it's that way again because the anime. But Monferno's kind of stinky doo doo.
See, I'm a bit biased, but I don't think it's that bad.
Okay, agreed. Like, I think there are worse offenders on this list.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the others, and I'm thinking they've got to be low down, right? I'm thinking Monferno. I don't think it's that big a deal.
Okay, I'm willing to put in mid, but it ain't going any higher than that.
Yeah, okay,
I'm sorry, Chimchar. I'm sorry,
I would have put
Infernape.
it in like.
But Monferno, it's. Ooh. If 7-year-old could see me now, he'd be so disappointed. Okay, what are your thoughts on Primplop?
Not overly for it. It's just kind of. It's just the stepping stone to get to Empoleon.
I think
The
it does a
design
good
itself,
job
I
of it,
think,
though.
is meh. I mean, it's a good second step, if you know what I mean. Like, it bridges the two quite well. But as far as the design goes, it is a bit. At that point, I just can't wait to get Empoleon. You know, I'm just like, oh,
Really?
this hurry up.
Oh, that's sad, because I really like Primplop. I want to put it, like, here, like, at the bottom of its call. Because I don't want to call it mid.
Well, I think even calling it mid would be a bit.
What? You're saying it's
Actually
bad?
too high.
It's a blue penguin. It's not bad.
Yeah. So is Piplup and Empoleon. What makes Piplup even more special?
Okay, you cannot tell me that this thing looks better than this thing. That is just does not compute in my head.
Ah, well, it's not your head it needs computing.
Your head don't work.
I know, but
Maybe
I mean,
maybe you need to take your head back
that's
to
a
the
different
lab for a
conversation.
refund.
I don't know. I just never saw like Empoleon, cool. Piplup, cute, but Primplup's like it's kind of.
What am I
I
hearing?
prefer one or the other. You know, like I'd think, okay, I'd rather Piplup or Empoleon.
I've known you for 7 years.
Mhm.
I feel like my whole friendship's been built on a lie. How can you say that this? That's your lowest opinion of something so far. You haven't even tried to put something in going back to the lab yet. And this
We'll
of all
get there.
Pokemon. I
Okay, I'm
refuse.
not saying I would take it back to the lab. I'm just saying I don't think it's that great.
I don't think it deserves to be up here with. Also, why are they all grass Pokemon?
We're noticing the trend.
But this guy's here. Oh no, because I know where the next one's going as well. No, because you like Superior. Okay, right.
We'll get there.
Okay, we're going to be here for a while, so I will concede and park it in mid. But
Okay.
there ain't
We
no
could use
chance
veto at the
it's
end
on
if we
me.
need.
Okay, right.
If you really want.
Servine, where are we saying?
So I'm a big fan of Superior. But Servine is a bit meh. It is kind of whatever. I'll give you that one. I know you're not a fan either.
I actually really like Servine.
Oh my god, are we doing this?
Come on, Grass Union, let's go.
Are you actually going to put it up there?
It's cool.
Yeah. Do you prefer it to Superior?
Yes, I do.
Oh wow.
But
Okay.
purely based on the second stage, is it quite as cool as these guys? I don't think so, but I do really like it though. I actually think Servine's a really sleek
Okay, I mean,
design.
I'm happy to put it high. Like, I don't hate it, but I also don't, I don't think it's great. But then if you do quite like it, then we can put it just above average.
Yeah.
I think that's a decent one.
Okay. Pig Knight. I think this is probably one of the most hated starters. I don't care. It's not going down here. It's not going down here. It's like here, bare minimum. Look at this
minimum?
Chad. Look at this Chad.
See, I was gonna say like, put it in the, what's the one under mid?
No, that's just like the final one. That's the middest of them all.
Oh, so that's the
That we're deciding that at the
the
end.
goat.
Like, it's like the equivalent
Okay,
of the
got it,
goat.
right.
Yeah. Nah. Oh, I love him. I love Pig Knight.
I don't quite love him. I would be tempted.
Look at his cute little singlet.
I would be tempted to take him back to the lab, but I know
Nah,
you won't have it.
No
so it's
shot.
fine.
There ain't no shot he's going back to the lab. I will adopt any Pig Knight that tries to get taken back to the lab. I refuse to let him get put in the pound.
Man will set up a camp
woof.
outside the door and be like, I will take him off your hands.
Again, how are you doing this to my boys? He's the top of mid. Ain't no shot he's going below that.
Okay, fine.
I actually think Duot's pretty cool. Duot is sick.
See, I feel like I just shouldn't say anything anymore.
Because the thing is, like, if Samurott just... Because Oshawtt's really cute. If Samurott took it more leaves... Yeah, no, like, genuinely, I love it.
Oh my god.
If Samurott stood up and was a proper, like, otter samurai with huge swords instead of the skull chops,
Yeah,
bro,
that would be really cool.
it would be crazy. Duot is sick.
To be fair, it is Samurott that sort of ruins the line, let's be honest. Duot is like, okay.
What's wrong with him? It's an otter, one of the coolest animals, and it's a samurai. You take a pen, you take an apple. Oh, that kind of, two great things.
Okay, you know what? Fine. We'll put it in. Does it have to evolve?
Yes.
I will concede.
Okay, right. I kind of like him. I
Oh
do
my
like
God.
him. I do like him, but
Learn to
I
hate
understand. I understand the
Something's
sentiment. Many people.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Quilladin, but it had to be done, unfortunately. Don't worry.
It did.
I will give him a new home, but I think that the general community sentiment is that it's getting taken back for a refund.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of painful. Okay.
Oh, they'd have to pay me to take it.
I think we could be getting a new trend. Instead of grass types, I think the next pardon the pun, I think the next few red guys are kind of fire.
Kind of hot.
Yeah. I think Breakson's up here. Breakson is a cool design.
I've never
then-
really had much like affinity for it because I only actually played through Gen 6 once.
Because
And of course, Greninja. Like, why wouldn't you?
yeah, I recently did my top Kalos Pokemon, and I mentioned in it that Fennekin was my first starter because I was a fire type kid, and I love Fennekin, and Breakson I thought was really cool, and then I was bitterly disappointed when it got to Delphox. So,
Yeah, I don't think Delphix is terrible, but then at the same time, it's like I don't have much love for Breakson either.
okay,
So it's like
We can move it down into.
I'm kind of
its
just undecided.
core, but I really like it. I thought I'd put the case forward for Braixen.
Yeah, that's fine. I'd have it there.
Yeah, because it's definitely a more like obviously Gen 1 designs were a lot more basic and less sophisticated than modern designs. But like, look at the difference between these guys in terms of design wise. This is just what if a lizard had a flame on its tail and stood up.
Yeah.
Look how
I mean, Gen 1 did have some very questionable designs, such as like Voltorb. You're like, okay, that's a ball.
yeah, and an ice
Okay.
cream's lazy.
What else? See, when I was younger, I did think that ice cream, pile of gears, like. Pff. But now I've gotten older, I do quite like the
I like object mons.
the mundane objects that are just like Sinistea or something. You know, it's a cup of tea, but with a ghost in it. I'm like, perfect.
Yeah,
You know,
why
it's
not?
like, I really want one of the.
I would never say it like
You know,
those.
something like that.
I would never say those Pokemon are like my favorite Pokemon, but I appreciate them.
Yeah, no,
I like
I wouldn't put
them.
them in like my top 10, but I think that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, I'd love a haunted lawnmower. Like, that sounds awesome.
Okay, Frogadier. Again, Froakie. Like I said in the last episode, I think Froakie's overrated. Greninja, admittedly, incredible. Frogadier, I'll say he's kind of mid.
Yeah, it's not quite Take Back to the Lab, but it's not great. So.
I
think mid's a good
I
choice.
definitely prefer Marshtomp or Pignite or Prinplup to him. 100%.
I think I prefer Frogadier than a good chunk of them.
But I don't think it's as. I don't think I like it as much as any of these.
I mean, I'm happy to put it somewhere in mid.
Okay, we'll bump
But
it
you-
up
you can
into
choose
the
where.
middle, but because I don't dislike it, but I just don't think it's that cool. And again, I think Dartrix has to join him. To be honest,
Yeah,
I don't like it.
a lot of
I-
these are quite mid. Just
I
'cause
would
they are
I
mid
would
stages, aren't
probably say I'd try and take it back after I get my cute little ball Rowlet, and it turns into this guy. I mean, sure, he's like an esteemed gentleman, and that might rescue him. I think he might I think he might stay in mid, but I don't like the design that much. What are we saying, Mark?
they? I'm not a big fan of the design. This is tough. I think we're going to have a lot in mid, aren't we? Because a
Yeah.
lot of them are like not great, if you know what I mean. They're not high, but then they're also not
I
bad.
I am staring at some lab-bound mons down the bottom there.
maybe. Yeah, I'm happy to put it mid, but I don't know where. I think you can choose where in mid.
Well, I think this guy needs to get bumped up a bit. And then, yeah, I'm happy with that. I think.
Seems
Yeah.
about right.
Torracat, I love this mod.
I
think
do
it
quite like
is
Torracat,
sick.
yeah. It was a lot better than Litten, of course, and I don't want to say it's better than Incineroar, but it's not far below.
No, exactly. I think it is the perfect fire cat Pokemon.
It is indeed a fire cat, yeah, and it's
I
pretty
think
cool.
it,
good
I
design.
don't. I think
Clean.
I think people would struggle to design a better fire cat because Incineroar at that point it's more of a tiger. It is like
Yeah, that's just a big cat. though,
like
isn't it?
the man's trying to put you in a headlock and then sell you some frosties. Like that's
Yeah,
that's
right.
that's what Incineroar's trying to do, bro. Whereas this is the perfect fire cat Pokemon.
It's just cat.
So I think it's actually one of
I
my
think
favorites.
it's
So
probably one of the best mid stages. Yeah.
yeah, so I'm happy we agree on that because
Oh, nice.
I was
At least there's
expecting
something.
I was expecting to have to fight a lot harder for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Incineroar, but Torracat is cool. We'll go for that.
Okay, Brionne. What are we saying about Brionne?
Not particularly my favorite.
The thing is, right, is I don't think it's a bad design, but if I'm in the mindset, right, of I've got Poplio because effectively it's a water dog. It's a goofy little boy.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it turns around and becomes a ballerina. If I thought I was getting if I thought I was getting my little best bud and I all of a sudden just have a ballerina on my hands, I'm taking it back for a refund because it's not what I ordered.
Okay, yeah, I could get behind that.
I think that
joining,
makes perfect sense.
Joining Quilladin.
Yeah, I think Quilladin's gonna get a bit lonely as well. Because, like I say, I don't harbour any ill will towards Quilladin. I quite like Quilladin, so I think it deserves a buddy. Okay, no, pack it in, Mister.
I've never even used it for good reason too. So.
Okay, right. Thwacky. I think we have a contender here. I think this might be like the most. I just don't feel anything. I just think it's mid.
I don't really like any of that line, to be honest with you. So
No, neither. I don't like. I like Grookey.
I would say I'd take it back to that, but I wouldn't have even picked Grookey. So like,
I just think
I wouldn't have the chance to take it back.
I
to
just
that.
think Thwacky's just mid. I do think it could be the most mid on here. I think it could be sliding down in a minute.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see towards the end.
Okay, right. No question. It is incredible. I love this mod.
The whole line pretty good, but
Raboot in particular. It's.
I mean, I'm more Cinderace, but it's not bad.
So
as a mid-stage.
cool. It's even got the little like snud for when he's playing in the winter. It's such a cool design, man. I love these little tracksuit teenagers. It's perfect. I love him. It's like, if you're all happy to let me have him there for now.
Yeah, I was going. I mean, I'm not against him being in that tier, and as you love him so much, I think you know what I can lean.
Oh no! Fill for me.
Adrian.
Talk.
Hello. I'm not good at doing this solo.
You are diabolical.
So we've only got a few left. Got a feeling some of them might be left at the lab. Because so far,
Okay, I apologise sincerely for leaving you with this bozo.
hey, you knew what you were getting into.
I felt like I had to dig these out.
Why do you think we're co-hosts and I'm not just the host?
Okay, right. Don't know whether this is going to focus or not. Have to boot up OBS. Okay, right. This is one of the most beautiful cards I have ever had in my collection. Might have to zoom in on that, but it is majestic. I pulled it from a Stellar Crown pre-release. One of my first, literally my first ever pre-release event. I love it. It is the perfect card for the perfect mon. It is Raboot playing football, doing keepy uppies with a snowball. Mwah.
As I said, I'm happy for him to be in that tier.
I'm a very
don't love
passionate
him
Raboot
nearly as
fan.
much as you, but it's okay. It's a good mid stage.
I have waxed lyrical enough, and going from one end of the spectrum to another. You're not telling me any other.
Yeah.
I get that you're an emo teen and you can relate, but look at it. It's an abomination.
It's not your stereotypical sort of design. It's like it's different, which I guess good or bad depending on who you are.
As much as I love Jimmy, when he went through this, I was very much praying it was a phase.
When he went through his emo phase.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're my son, I love you, but I don't want to be seen in public with you right now. So yeah, it's going back for a refund for sure.
Damn. You didn't get rid of Jimmy like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jimmy wasn't the best teen. Okay, right. Next up is Crocodile. And what do I have here? Guess what?
I know
Another card.
you're a very big
Wham!
fan of the whole line.
I love Crocodile. Well,
But-
actually, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I can't lie. Okay. My Fuecoco fanboy has just like clouded my judgment. I do not love Crocodile.
Yeah, my Crocodile is just kind of, yeah, it's just whatever.
But Fire Egg Sombrero. That alone rescues it.
I mean, having like a fire sombrero is cool, but I feel like it just kind of doesn't look right on him. It looks like someone sort of dared him to wear the hat, and he went, "All right, bet," and then just sort of did it.
Yeah, I hear it. Like, I just feel like the proportions of the design is just a bit odd. He's just a bit too rotund.
It's just a bit of a fat boy Coco with a hat,
Yeah.
and then it's even weird when you terror it and it gets like two hats. You know?
Hatception.
Yeah,
So we saying that?
double hat Tronda. That doesn't work.
I
Somewhere
think,
mid.
I
Yeah.
think the fire sombrero is enough to make me say it's cool.
How much of that is your bias towards the line, though?
Does that answer your question?
fair amount of it.
I do love the fire sombrero though. I think it's
Okay,
really
you could put it
cool.
somewhere in mid, but you could put it high mid. Wherever you feel it should be.
Marshtomp deserves to be up here. Marshtomp's a good boy. Okay, right. Again, two very different ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah.
Is there any debate about where Quaxwell's going?
No.
What is that?
It's getting sent back, that's what it is.
What is that hair? What is that on top of his head?
Look at the top of his head.
Actually kind of sounded like him there. That.
Yep.
It's awful. And then Florigato. This Puss in Boots looking motherfucker is
I
sick.
think it's kind of cool.
It's going straight up here.
Okay,
It is
yeah,
definitely
fair.
one of the best mid stages, 100%.
Yeah, that's fine by me. I was going to say I like it. I think it's cool. But to be fair, they're all mid stages, so it's a bit hard to really like any of them. But I do like Florigato, so yeah, sure.
Yeah, I know
I'll
we're
put it up
not
there.
talking about the third stage, but this is one that I do prefer to the final stage.
Oh wow, okay.
I think it's better than Meowscarada, 100%. I think Florigato is peak Pokemon design.
I think the only one I actually prefer is probably Bayleaf.
I prefer
Maybe Torracat, but who knows?
Okay, yeah, that's quite interesting actually. Let's talk about, before we settle on our final answers, what ones do we prefer out of the whole list?
Yeah, I'd say either Bayleaf, which is kind of a given, and then potentially Torracat. I have a bit of a weird sort of love-hate relationship with Incineroar.
I think a lot
I
of
like
people,
it.
especially
It
in
is
the
cool.
competitive community, have that same sentiment.
Yeah, see, I've never like competitively battled really, so I don't have that same. It's like in Overwatch when
Yeah.
people had to play goats all the time. I mean, I love
Yeah,
goats.
well, yeah, come
but that is because we were sick at it.
We
right?
were
So
goats fiends.
we indeed were. So I've never had to deal with Incineroar in that way. It just the design is just a bit like, I don't know. I'm not all for it. I mean, it is the one I chose when I played Alola, but it's
I prefer a fair few of these actually. I prefer Braixen, definitely.
Okay.
Like I say, I don't mean to. I mean like to the final, like I was saying we should discuss.
yeah.
I prefer Braixen, prefer Servine. Croconaut I don't prefer to Feraligatr, but like I say, I stand by that if we had some of this like caveman looking design aspect on Feraligatr, it would be better. So that's 1, 2. I prefer Florigato, 3. Definitely prefer you. Definitely prefer you. Maybe
Oh,
prefer
actually,
you.
yeah. Do what I probably prefer as well.
Do what? Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't
2
prefer
and a half.
you, unfortunately. Definitely prefer Reboot. I love Reboot. It's like I like Cinderace as well. Like it's not that I don't like Cinderace. I just love Reboot. And then Torracat again. I love Torracat, but I also love Incineroar, so I can't say that I prefer it necessarily. But they're kind of similar for me.
Okay, I can see that.
Right. What we saying is the GOAT mid stage. I'm saying Reboot.
Best mid-stage. So I'm assuming, just for logic sense, it has to come from that tier.
Yes.
Um,
Wait, what would you say?
well, I just want to get the rules clear. Out of that, it's I'd say either
I'm saying
Torracat,
it's
Grottle, or
between
Grovyle.
these. What? You would say Grovyle over Reboot? That's criminal.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm saying, for mine, it's between these four.
Those 4, okay. So then mine was Grottle, Torracat, and Grovyle.
Okay, right. So
Torracat
between
and
these
Grottle
two.
both cross over.
oh, this is hard because Grottle, obviously
Probably
Torterra.
say Grottle.
I think Torracat. I feel like a traitor because I literally have a Turtwig keyring that comes with me everywhere. But I think I prefer Torracat to Grottle.
Really?
Taking them out of the purely one-to-one design basis, I think I prefer Torracat. But like I say, I love the Torterra line, so I will.
But then putting
concede.
Torracat as the best doesn't sound right to me. So
Why not? Also, we are going to get some poof for this. This is a wild take in the community, I think.
okay, what do you think the community's general consensus would be as the best mid-stage?
I think the community consensus would probably be Florigato.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I do like Florigato. We could maybe move up.
Scarlet
but-
Violet, when all the designs came out, people were standing Florigato. But I think I'm happier with this, though, because I feel like it's a lot more unique as well. I don't think that you're going to see many tier lists with Grottle at the top, so
We are the ones that love Grottle.
I will take it. We're the Grottle Grouches. Right.
Grottle group.
So, the moment you've all been waiting for. We've all been building towards this. What is the most mid-Evo from the starters?
So, looking through that list, what's the most? So the most just sort of like kind of just average. So
The
not
most
great,
like
not-
nothing. Because the thing is, these guys, Pignite, Marshtomp, they make me feel something. I like them. They're goofy. So I wouldn't say they're the most mid. I'm saying, like, Crocodile, like, look at it, same kind of vibe. He's just goofy. He's cute. I love him. Whereas, like, oh no! cut. Well,
Go good.
we're fine. I forgot I had bound my side buttons, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, back to your regularly scheduled broadcasting. Okay, so
I think the middest would be.
I think Thwacky is the one that I feel the most nothingness about.
I'm tempted to say Dartrix.
Really?
It's like
I think just the fact that he's an esteemed gentleman means that I'm like, yeah, you're cool enough. He's got, like, the thing is like, because of that, he's kind of got his own design aspects, whereas
Maybe
some of the
Quilava.
others, it feels like they don't. I'm down with
Quilava,
that as well,
I'm
because,
thinking
like I was saying, like,
it's cool. Like it's not much different from Cyndaquil, right? It's just
exactly, it's not got much
It just
of
all
its.
stands up
It,
for
it doesn't
design,
have its
right?
own unique thing going for it.
In
Like,
itself, it is still quite cool. So it is
like,
just pretty mid.
like Primplup, you can start to see the sort of Napoleon design aspects coming in. Frogadier's got his scarf. I mean, Ivysaur I'd put in the same category as Quilava, where they don't have too much. Like even Thwackey, who I just feel nothingness about. At least it's got like the sort of like caveman drumstick head things going on. I mean, it looks like something else. You can say that. And then Monferno, I feel like we get too much heat for putting in there. So I think it's between these two. But I'm happy with Quilava. Again, I feel this might be a little bit unpopular, but we happy with that as our final answer?
Sure.
Oh, indecision
It's
setting
hard.
in.
It's tough to think of a mid stage because it's
Yeah,
like
I know.
you got to think about something that's not great but also not terrible. You know, it's like it's usually you're wired to think this is good, this is bad, right? But to think of something purely in the middle is a bit
Pure
difficult.
Mid. It is
A
like
literal mid.
perfectly balanced as all things should be.
But then Thwackey is like, I don't feel much for him either. So,
Yeah, no, I was saying I was campaigning for Thwackey earlier. Like the thing is, like I think I prefer Quilava to Thwackey, but at least Thwackey's kind of got its own design kind of things going for it. But no, I'm perfectly happy with Thwackey. I think that would like when Thwackey first came up, I said I think it might be the middest. So,
But then at the same time, I don't feel anything good for it either. You know, like I don't think it's great, but then I also don't think it's like. I mean, I do think it's kind of bad, but like.
okay, right, we need to set one on.
I would say Quilava
Final
because
answer.
with Thwackey, it's like I don't think it's great either. At least with Quilava, I'm like it's alright. It's just kind of there.
Okay, so if we're
So
going
that
purely
is mid.
mid, because I think I prefer Quilava. So you're right. I think Thwackey's kind of like sits below this in the
Oh,
pecking
okay,
order.
so we're changing it.
No. I don't mean moving its tier, but I'm like,
That's how much you would
in theory,
like Quilava.
mid should be like the middle of this tier.
Yeah.
So like I'm saying, yeah. So Quilava would have been Quilava and Thwackey are like here. So I'm saying Quilava. If we're going based on
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I could do that.
So, to answer your question, Quilava is the middest starter out there.
Indeed.
Done. Finalised. But before we go, I think it's time for our Pokemon of the episode. So,
Have you got a, like a spreadsheet or something to write all these down in? Or are we just kind of gonna remember?
I will create a spreadsheet. Like I
Okay,
said, I
'cause
will.
there's only
but
three. So
when
there's
there
not many
was
to
only two, and now there's only three, it's like
remember. Okay.
generate. Cubchoo!
Cubchoo. Ooh, okay. We like Cubchoo. Cubchoo's cute.
Cubchoo, the little snot demon, is cute.
Very cute, and it's an ice type, which are pretty powerful. You know, so ice types are quite unique, I find, because they're only ever in one part of the region. You know how
Yeah.
every region has like the icy area.
I think I want to say it's still the rarest type.
probably There's not many of them.
Look at this thing. It's adorable. Oh
What
my
was the other two?
god.
It was
I think this thing.
Fletchling and Volcanion.
Yes.
I think this has got to be both of them.
Oh,
think just purely on
but
the keypad,
Fletchling. Okay, if we're doing Fletchling and not the line, but I think we said we're going to do the lines though. So I prefer
maybe.
Talonflame to Cubchoo, but I prefer Cubchoo to Fletchling. I'm saying
It depends what our
Cubchoo's
rules are for how we're doing the list.
doing the lines because otherwise it gets repetitive.
Yeah, 'cause I was going to say,
Plus,
when
I
you
don't.
get a Fletchling, does that
Plus,
mean that
I don't
you're then
think
doing
we're
that?
going to get to 1,000 episodes. Unfortunately, I could be wrong,
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll-
I mean, if
we'll
do
see
get
how
to
we
that
get
point,
on.
We'll think of something else.
but unless we start doing more than one a week, that's
gonna
going to
take a
take us
while.
20 years, Mark. So by that
I
point,
know,
there'll
could
be
be doing this
2,000
for 14.
Pokemon. So I think we should do the lines.
Okay,
so-
that's fair.
But if I'm going to use
But
that
Beartic
argument,
is-
exactly, I was going to say.
Beartic's cool. but I think I would prefer Cubchoo purely on the cuteness.
Yeah, agreed. But Beartic is a sick design, though.
It is cool.
Why does man look like he's
I mean, it's
squatting
just a
to
bear,
take
really,
a dump?
isn't it? It's just polar bear. You're just chilling.
Whoa! Why is this Beartic bullying his kids?
You know what that reminds you of? That reminds you of that meme which has Big Bird on it. I don't know if you've seen it. Where it says the children are fast, but Big Bird is faster. And it's got like a Big Bird costume chasing them. And then it says like, I think it's like 1845 or something under it. And someone said, "What happened in 1845?" And then the response was, "That's not the year. That's his kill streak." it's stuck with me pretty much my whole life since I've seen it. That gives us the exact same energy. I'm gonna have to remember to edit it in.
Okay, right. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna air this dirty laundry on the podcast. Because
Okay.
we were saying about ranking these. I wanted to put ratings behind them. What do people think? Does everyone think we should rate each one, like give it a numerical value, so that it makes tiering them a bit easier as we get further down the line, or should we just Top Gear style whack it here? But I think that.
Yeah, above this one, but below this one.
But they have a timing. They have a designated numerical value that specifies where it goes in the ranking. So I think we should start rating them.
See, my thought is that we could give it a number so that we could order it, but then at the same time, if we were to give Beartic like an 80 or something, but then
So what you're
something has,
saying
like,
is
something
we
has a
should
77.
kind
you then
of.
put it above, but you think, oh, I do actually prefer this to Beartic, even though it's got a lower number. You know,
Okay,
it's
I
like,
understand that. So are we saying
my logic.
we will rate them, but we wait until we've got, say, 10, and then we can start rating them, because then we'll have enough to sort of gauge a scale. So it's like, we have them in this order, so if we have them in this order, this one we like more than this one, so we should have that X rating, and then we can benchmark based off those.
So are you just saying to put them in order?
I'm saying we should start by just putting them in order until we've got a big enough sample size to be like, okay, so Beartic at this point is second, let's say.
Right.
So therefore, we can put it at a 70, knowing there's only one above, or an 80, and say there's only one above it. Whereas if we start by giving it an 80 and be like, oh damn, out of 10 Pokemon, there's 7 we prefer, we can't give them all 80s, 90s.
Yeah. And then there's going to be a lot of draws as well.
No,
If you start giving the numbers, like what if like 5 Pokemon have 90, and you're like, well, what order do we put it
Or
in?
we don't give them 590s then.
But what if you do like them equally?
We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. We'll fight
We'll
to
work it out.
death over
We'll
which
work it
one
out.
we
We'll work
prefer. That's how it works. But, okay, right. So, let us know what you think in the comments that we should do in terms of ranking these. Because, for now, I'm saying Talonflame line, Beartic line, Volcanion. Agreed?
If you're doing it on the line, yes.
Yeah, we're doing it on the line.
Okay.
So, unfortunately, speaking of doing it on the line, it's time for us to get off the line. So, it's a bye from me, and it's a bye from Mark. So,
Bye bye.
we'll see you next time. Peace.